Phones down and heads up, cause The View is live. You're fired. President Trump cans the acting attorney general. Why he says she betrayed him. And Tyga trolled. Why he's getting slammed for bad parenting while on vacay with the Kardashian clan. Plus, actress and singer Keke Palmer. Let's fire up Hot Topics with Whoopi, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, and Jedediah Bila. Now, let's get things started.
The battle over immigration ban continues. Acting Attorney General Sally Yates declared she would not defend challenges to the ban because she's not sure it's lawful. So President Trump did what he's known for doing. He fired her. He called it a betrayal. Now, is he sending a message about the price for defying him? And didn't she just actually do her job?
But a betrayal sounds like he's King Henry VIII. You betrayed me, off with your head.
I mean, language is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a betrayal. I think certainly she's doing her job. I mean, what he may not understand is that the job of the Attorney General is to represent the Constitution and defend the Constitution and also represent the people of the United States, not necessarily represent the president. So I remember, you know, what most people don't understand is when you get into the courtroom as a federal prosecutor, you say, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. My name is Asuncion Hassan, and I represent the people of the United States." You say it every single day. And so, you know, she's his legal advisor. She can't send those prosecutors into court to defend something that she believes isn't constitutional.
Right. Well, it's interesting. Yeah.
No, I was going to jump in and disagree.
Go ahead.
But you can go. No, I actually disagree. I know lawyers disagree all the time. I spoke with a bunch of lawyers yesterday. Mark Levin, one of my friends, and a number of people. And basically, her job is she can object. Their consensus is she can object to this, but her job is to enforce the laws. And by supporting the Constitution, she's essentially the president. In other words, the president is the guy who's there to make these rules. And if she objects, her obligation is to resign and say, you know what, I find this to resign, but not to stay and support insubordination of those laws. In other words,
it's not insubordination. I mean, she's actually doing her job. You are the legal advisor to the president of the United States, as well as
let me put you both on pause, because it seems like his pick for Attorney General Jeff Sessions warned her that this could happen when he spoke to her at her confirmation back in 2015. Take a look.
Right.
If the views the president wants to execute are unlawful, should the Attorney General or the Deputy Attorney General say no?
Senator, I believe that the Attorney General or the Deputy Attorney General has an obligation to follow the law and the Constitution and to give their independent legal advice to the president.
Well, that's true.
that's the job.
Wait, but that's the job. The question to raise to both of you, Sunny specifically with the legal part, is it her job to raise questions of morality or just or rightness, or is it legality?
Well,
because the thing I was concerned...
Legality.
It's not morality, it's
Yeah,
the Constitution. I mean, if you think about it, the preamble to the Constitution says, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, when you take an oath to become a lawyer, you swear that you will uphold the Constitution, and that's exactly what you do as the Attorney General, because you're the top law enforcement officer. So you are now telling the president, this order is unconstitutional.
Or I'm not sure.
That's my legal advice.
I'm not sure, which is what she said. I can't just blanket this because you just threw it at me, and I don't know that this is legal.
Well, the reason I brought up morality was her language says, it's my solemn obligation to always seek justice and stand for what is right. So I was waiting to hear legal feedback, just curiosity about the parts she was talking about, and it seemed to speak a little more broad about this isn't right, so I just didn't know which one is her.
In her letter to the Justice Department attorneys, she made it clear, and I think in her letter to this president, that she found that this was unconstitutional.
The whole thing.
Well, you know, can I just say that Jeff Sessions, who is up for the job of Attorney General, is going to bow down to Trump. If you look at his record, and they need to take very close look at him, because during his term in the Senate, for example, he blocked nearly every black candidate for a judgeship in the state of Alabama. That has to be out there. People have to know his record. And I say that the record speaks to the future, in my opinion. That he's not necessarily sympathetic, for example, to women. He voted no on reauthorizing the Violence Against Women Act. You know, he's against LGBT rights. This is the next Attorney General who will fall in line with whatever his name is, Donald, says he will do.
And that is not the job. You are the advisor to the president. I mean, and this is a president that doesn't have a law degree. At least President Obama had a Harvard law degree, and you know, I mean, he did. And so he understood the nuances of the law. He's a constitutional expert.
Yes, right.
Advising the president is not deciding which laws you want to enforce and which ones you don't. She could have said to the president, I don't agree with this. I don't like this. I have a problem with it. Hence, I'm going to resign. But if you're going to stay in that position, you're obligated to enforce the laws. Otherwise, you're going to have attorney generals that just at will.
Enforce what laws, though? The laws, wait a minute, which laws?
Hold on a second, though. Do you remember the case of Kim Davis? I don't know if anyone remembers Kim Davis, the Kentucky County clerk. She defied a federal court order because they wanted her to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. That was the law at the time, and she said, I'm not going to do it because my religion says no.
That was not the law at the time. Remember that. That was not the law at the time.
But she defied that based on her
religious beliefs. This woman is acting on her law.
But where's the legal argument?
Well, here's the legal argument as I see it, and I know nothing about the law except when I break it. But what she did was she said, I cannot tell you guys to do this because I'm not sure this is legal. And part of the problem with all of this is that these things are tossed out like this and everyone is scrambling. So when we need to know, there's no time taken to see what the legality is, where it's wrong, where it's right, to correct it. It's the same issue that I'm finding, you know, when I hear this kid who is his mouthpiece. What is this young man? Steve
Bannon?
No.
Sean Spicer.
Sean Spicer.
Yeah.
When he says to, you know, diplomats around the world, you know, if you don't like it, leave.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. These people are telling you.
They're your advisors.
They're your advisors. So is this the same as what Trump was bitching about when he was talking about Benghazi? Didn't he say, well, you know, they told you what was happening and nobody listened, and that's why we lost this young man's life. This is the same situation.
Well, they turn reality on its end. It's like they also told us that Hillary Clinton should not have a personal server. Now all of his surrogates and everybody around him has a personal server. So, you know, you can also, Trump is complaining that people are double voting. Well, his son-in-law is registered in 2 states. I think his daughter is. I mean, the hypocrisy. Steve Bannon is registered in 2 states.
If you're going to say that you are not, if you're the Attorney General, and you're going to say, I'm not going to support this law because it's illegal and it's unconstitutional and my job is to uphold the Constitution, aren't you obligated to tell people why it doesn't uphold the Constitution?
Well, only if someone is obligated to give you the time to do your job.
But then you can't first say, I'm not going to enforce it.
She has to, no. If you're talking to the people who work for you and they're saying, what do we do? Do we just go through? She has to say, no. I don't know. I need to check because I don't think this is legal.
To
but
be
I need
sure
to know.
she had that conversation.
You have to know that she did.
You can't, as Attorney General, make the decision not to enforce the law based on a suspicion that it may not be legal.
No, you're.
He has right to fire her.
That's
100%.
not. Listen, what you are saying is incorrect. What she said. How do you know what I'm saying?
No, I disagree. Just because I'm saying that my point is that you can't, Attorney General can't come out and just say, I think this might be illegal, so I'm not going to enforce it.
So let me ask you this. So if the law had been, the next 5 Italian people we see, I want them all shot.
Hold on.
Why do you have to pick Italian?
Italian.
Because there's 2 at the table.
There's 2 of us.
I want them all shot. Now, the guys around the country will say, what the hell is this? What do you mean she wants it? is she not correct in saying, listen, I don't think this is legal. I don't want you to do anything until I can get back to you and tell you what's going on.
I would hope that in that case, she would cite constitutionally, she's the Attorney General. This is why this opposes our Constitution, and this is why I'm not going to
think she
support
did
it.
that.
You don't think she did that with her people?
She didn't even do it in her public statement. I'm searching through her public statement for the legality. I see no legal argument.
Are you telling me that you think that the president who put out this thing gave people enough time to make a legal argument? Because I will tell you that let me tell you about two of the people he's making the world safer from coming in. 12-year-old Yemeni girl who's stranded in Africa right now, prevented from getting back to her family in California, and a 5-year-old Iranian boy who's an American citizen who's detained and kept from his mother for hours at the airport. So that's who we're blocking. So when she says, I don't know if he can legally do this,
But she said
that's
more
her
than that.
job to them.
It's her job
She
to know.
said, my
It's her job to know.
responsibility is to ensure that the position
job
of the
to know. It is.
Department
You're
of Justice...
incorrect. We'll be right back.
No.
You are. You're incorrect. We'll be right back.
Coming up, Obama versus Trump. How he's breaking his silence on our new president just 10 days after leaving office. Still ahead, Keke Palmer opens up about internet trolls who attacked her.
So you want to correct the email server?
No, I mix up private emails with private service. I don't really know the difference.
Right.
But that's what
But
I
it's
said.
private.
I said that his people had private service. They have private emails. I don't know. Isn't it the same thing? I don't know the difference, and I don't care.
Yeah. So we also keep hearing about terrorists hating our American values. Maybe we had this conversation yesterday. This was a point you made.
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you now. We have a leader who has repeatedly demeaned women,
Right.
wants to defund organizations that benefit women, calling on the media to shut up, specifically wants to give preferential treatment based on religion. Are these values really much different than the Taliban's?
I mean, well, you're talking about Trump's values.
Well, no, the values that we are listening to, because one of the things you read yesterday was a piece of the language in the ban,
Yeah.
which was about if you disrespect women, if you disrespect
gay people,
yes.
if you,
And so yesterday I was thinking about
They're
this,
doing
and
the same thing.
thought all of these things that I've been hearing. Have our values changed? What's happened? Are we still
values have not
fighting?
changed.
Well, I think there's a difference between Donald Trump and America, because when I think of our values, I think of the values outlined in the Constitution, and whether or not my president at the time is a reflection of that doesn't necessarily mean that the values of the country or the people have changed.
Well, let
but
me
I would
ask you
definitely think
something.
there's a difference between the Taliban, who is beheading people, chopping off heads, and an American president who may have policies that you disagree with, or may be saying things that
But if
you
he says,
disagree with.
I don't like what you did, you're fired. Is that,
That's
when
different
you
from chopping off people's heads.
Well, it is, but I feel like, listen, if you're saying to the media, shut up, that's what they do. Maybe they didn't start out chopping people's heads off. Maybe they started out differently. I'm asking this because it feels like it's tricky, because we're saying to people, here are our American values, and then we're saying at the same token stuff that sounds exactly like the stuff we're fighting, and so that's why I posed
Well, you're
the
saying
question.
that those are Trump's values.
Well, I'm saying there's
and
a
my
difference
question,
between Trump and America, and the constitutional
question
values
then-
as presented by Whoopi in the
But
leading.
my question then is are Trump's values different from the Republican Party's values? Because I don't
Yes.
see them objecting to any of this.
Well, you do.
I don't
So-
see them standing
Well, no,
up
that's
to
not
anything.
true. That's not true. Whoopi cited yesterday a whole bunch of Republicans, Lindsey Graham, John McCain, a list a mile long, objecting
it's
to
not
that
a mile
particular
long.
executive order.
It's
There's
not a
a lot
mile
of
long.
Republicans that have objected to the executive order.
I don't understand, Jet. You're saying...
Well, no,
They're letting everything go by. They're you know.
But Jet, I don't understand. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. You're saying that Trump's values are not in line with
I'm
American
saying that
values?
what Whoopi presented in the lead, where she talked about those values,
Yeah.
I don't think that Trump making comments that are horrific about women is representative of the way the United States at large feels about women.
A lot of people voted for him based
That's
on
true.
he was going to make America
That's
great
true, but
again.
no, I don't think they voted for
So
that
those
once
are
again.
American
What did they
values.
vote for? What did they
low
vote for?
taxes, and they voted for health insurance plans, and they voted for wanting to keep more of their hard-earned cash. I don't think they voted voted for what he said
So
about
grab a woman by the genitals, stop the press from
but
talking.
they're
is worth a
they'll
low
disregard
tax.
it. People, yes, it is. Yes.
Disregarded it.
I've seen a lot with Van Jones' work on The Messy Truth, and he does a really good job. I have actually been enlightened to so many of these people I guess I wasn't hearing before. So I definitely don't think they were voting for him because he grabbed them by the lady parts. I think
But they didn't care, apparently.
They
no, but
disregarded
that
it, and
is
that's even
but
worse.
I think
So they
the
care
fact that
about
we're
that.
sitting here and saying that is still missing what some of Van's work was, which is there are other things. Everybody has different things. Whether you can treat women right or put food on the table for your family, some of these people think that their vote is going to help them provide food for
I
their
understand
child.
that.
Or, you know, so
I
that-
understand
I think
that.
we're oversimplifying.
But you know what? The Trump voters said, and this was famous, it went all around, we didn't take him literally, we took him seriously. Well, now you can take him literally because every single thing he said has literally come true, okay?
But there are a lot
That
of
is a
people
fact.
just
He meant everything he
But
said.
you disagree with the policy, and that's okay. But there are a lot of people in the country that look at what he's doing and are applauding it and are saying, we like this executive order. We like that you're
That
setting
brings
up
me
more
back to
restrictions."
this
They do.
question.
Of
It
if the
brings me
values are
back to
changing.
the question. So the question is, when you put some of these things side by side, what kind of religion you're supposed to have? You're supposed to have one religion. Okay, so
People don't see it as that, though. They don't accept that
well,
premise.
not my American
this is
values.
when he says that there's a preferential treatment for Christians, forgetting all the other religions out there.
You mean for the refugee program? Is that what you
I'm talking about
executive order.
anytime.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that, because in that country, in Syria, Christians are the minority religion,
but he's
and that's
not
what
just
the refugee
banning
program is
Syrians.
designed
He's
for.
not just
Violates the
banning.
Constitution.
You know, here's the thing: we have a constitution that says these are the things we don't do. This is what makes us different from everybody else. Our media, nobody tells our media to shut up and just take
That's
it.
outrageous.
That's not America. That is
should never
the
be tolerated.
Taliban. That's how they do.
That's
the
not
Taliban.
an American value.
No, but
That's not an
my
American
question
That's
is,
Steve Bannon's
what's-
value.
But that's not an American value.
Who's the new puppeteer
But
of
what's
Dufour?
happening? What's happening? What do you
Well,
see
I would say
happening?
the noise we're seeing in the protests and the people that are coming out and marching, the President Obamas who are speaking up, it's showing that there is a value system that remains and is alive and well. So even if it's not presently maybe being reflected in some of the laws coming down, we're loud. Like, there's a lot of people.
He's supposed to be the president of the United States of America. He's supposed to reflect the very American values that so many of us have. When you're talking about America, this used to be the bastion of peace. This used to be the place where you could go when you were tired and you were weak and you were persecuted. And you can't do it anymore.
That's right.
How is that an American value?
And it is an interesting conversation, and that's what we do here at The View. We will be right back.
Later, the soulmate scam? Is there really such thing as the one when it comes to love? Or is that a dated dating concept?
So, we want to talk about one more thing before we move on to Tiger.
Okay.
We want to talk about Donald Trump talking about Chuck Schumer's tears. And he got choked up while speaking against the immigration ban, but I guess the new president wasn't moved by his display of emotion. Take a look.
I noticed Chuck Schumer yesterday with fake tears. I'm going to ask him who is his acting coach, because I know him very well. I don't see him as a crier. If he is, he's a different man. There's about a 5% chance that it was real, but I think they were fake tears.
You know, for somebody who lies constantly, that's called fake also, isn't it? When you lie all the time?
He
He's calling him-
tweeted this morning, Nancy Pelosi and fake tears Chuck Schumer held a rally at the steps of the Supreme Court, and the mic did not work. But he's back with his nicknames, and I really want an app that you could enter your own name and get a Trump nickname just for fun. Come on, guys. I need to know what I'd be if I entered that.
You know what was troubling about this to me is that he said he's a different man. If he did cry real tears, he's a different man. One thing that attracted me to my husband is we went, when we were dating, to a sad movie, and he cried. And he said, that was really touching. And I thought, what a strong man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was my reaction.
Did he mean it? Did he mean it's a different man, though, or he's a different man than he knew? Because I heard
I
the
guess
context.
he meant he's an alt man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and a strong man is a man that can show emotion.
Well, remember
That's
when John
strength.
Boehner was crying all the time? He was constantly crying.
He was screaming, too,
President
wasn't he?
Obama
Well, he
cried
was-
after the Newtown shooting.
Yeah, but
that was strength.
Boehner was crying because of his father's saloon or something. So this is a little different. This is like crying for this horrible thing
Well,
that happened.
he was
to
crying
humanity.
because he was talking about his dad. He was talking about family. You know, listen, you know, you can't challenge somebody's manhood because they cry. It's like challenging someone with small hands. You can't do that.
Can I just put out one more fact?
Yes.
Do you mind? I just want to put this one fact out from the
Okay.
Cato Institute. 1 in 3.64 billion chance there is of an American citizen being killed by a refugee turned terrorist. A 1 in 3.64 billion chance. So this whole lie that he puts out that, you know, we have to worry about these refugees is really based on a total fabrication. And Americans should know that. Because we're not just up here saying, let them all in and it's statistically, it's easier to get hit by lightning than to be attacked by a refugee in this country. Okay?
All right.
That's all. I think it's important for people to know the truth.
Tiger
Oh, yeah.
posted photos of his 4-year-old son wearing a grill. You know what a grill is, right? There's a little thing to go over your teeth. Okay. And was promptly slammed by comments from parents who did not approve. People do love to give unsolicited parenting advice online, but should this be a surprise? I mean,
Well, you put it out there, you're going to get hit with criticism. That's what happens.
Well, you're not really inviting it. When you put it out there, you're just saying, hey, look at my cute kid. He has not, like, I find it funny that parents don't stick together more because it's kind of a job there's no rule book, there's no right way to do it. You're guessing every day whether you're doing it right. So when people hate on each other on posts and things, I'm like, you know what? You're not helping anyone.
But a dentist said it's not a very good thing for the teeth because it's hard to floss.
So you don't leave it in.
so it's not real. You take them
it off?
out.
Right.
It's
The last time I wore a grill,
Let the parent.
That's what we'll call you, Sarah
We should
Grill.
put her on with us.
Sarah Grill.
Let the parent go to the dentist and find that out. Like that, parents need to be parents in the way that they want to be parents and make their own mistakes and do what they want to do. But I think in this society, in this day and age, with the way social media is, you have to know if you put stuff out there, people are going to comment.
Yeah.
People are going to tell you that you're doing it wrong, you're doing it right.
And here's
That's just the way it is.
They don't tell
to
you
me,
you're doing it right very often.
the crazy thing is that, you know, most parents do their due diligence with their kids. You're not the only one who gets it. Most parents, they do things, and it's fun for them, and sometimes it's fun for the kid. And if you don't like it, don't do it to your kid. But we'll be right back. Welcome back. So, is the idea of a soulmate for life a dated concept? A blogger on Metro claims that people live longer than ever before. Relationships evolve over time, so the idea of just one doesn't cut it anymore.
I agree. I think there are so many people you could end up with. I think you choose to be with someone over and over again. Like when you make the decision to get married, I don't think it's maybe a natural state to just sit next to the same person every day, but I think it's a discipline of love that you continue to choose it every day.
I love my husband. I think he's a soulmate. But if I hadn't been at that semi-nudist colony that day, I would have never met him.
With her clothes on, she says.
I had my clothes on, but
Emphasis
if I
on the
wasn't
semi,
there,
not
this is
nude.
becoming like everybody knows this now.
story.
That I met him at a place where he was naked and I was not. And if I hadn't been
Where do
there
you
that
go
day,
from there? There's no mystery.
well, it was far away. I was far away from.
Good, 'cause
I
that's
did.
different
I had
far away.
binoculars, but still. But I'm saying, if I wasn't there that day, I would have had a soulmate I met somewhere at another nudist colony. I don't know. You know, so I think that, you know, it's just coincidence that you run into the person.
Yeah, it's
and then
timing.
it's not coincidence. I don't think it's coincidence that you're drawn to a certain type of man.
Yeah.
Or woman. You know, I think that that's all from your childhood, but that's my psycho
Okay,
background.
Freud.
What do you mean from your childhood?
Like
I think-
Freudian, like you're.
It's a Freudian thing. It's like, you know, like I'm always attracted to tall, skinny men. That was my father. See what I mean? He's my father. He's my husband. He's my father. But like, I think that certain type of person is you meet them. You're, as my girlfriend Jane used
are
to
you
say,
doing here?
better loving through chemistry.
Oh.
Yeah.
I used to believe in soulmates, and then as I got older, I agree with Sarah. It's like you have time to meet different people, and then you choose someone that you at the time that is right for you. I mean, you could meet maybe more than one person that's right for you. And what happens if your soulmate dies, God forbid, and then are you just
You're
gonna
reincarnated in another
spend
soul.
your life alone? Yeah.
I feel like you shouldn't settle though. Like I remember being in relationships where I could have gotten married and I could have, you know, I could have been content, but I knew I was never going to be really, really happy. There was something missing, and I wouldn't have wanted the language of, you know what, you're content, like go with it. That you could make this work to have stuck because now I'm happy and now I see the difference and I'm like, wow,
But the flip
I'm glad I
side
waited.
Is if you wait for the one, you could be waiting a long time.
Yeah, I would just say wait until you're really happy. Wait until you feel like you're really happy. And if you look
is
at
that
someone
the one?
across the
Yeah, but
table,
by the
if
time
you
one
look
of
at them when they're at their most annoying, if you look at them and you say, even though you're driving me crazy right now, I still want to go through this with you, I think you're good.
But
to
if
go.
you wait long enough, so if you wait too long, your
going.
eggs are powdered and
all
you
right.
can't have
We'll
an
be
egg.
right back.
Can't have babies.
That's the
You're
point.
right.
I'm Keke Palmer, and the gag is I'm coming up next.
Singer and actress Keke Palmer's real life has been a hot topic lately, from publicly standing up for her rights to fighting back against internet trolls, and now writing her brave and candid new book, I Don't Belong to You. Please welcome Keke Palmer.
Yeah.
You look
so cute.
You look lovely.
Thank
you
you
look
so much.
wonderful.
Phil Fine, he's the best.
And you made news last week when you accused singer Trey Songz of featuring you in a music video without your consent and using, quote, sexual intimidation to persuade you to participate. Now, we did reach out to him, and he has no comment at this time, but tell us, what happened?
You know, I don't want to keep harboring on this one situation because I don't want it to overshadow my real point, which is that as a society, you know, me specifically, I feel like as a woman, we've normalized things that shouldn't be normalized. Like misogyny is accepted. You know, women being objectified on a daily basis, that's something that we think is normal. And if you speak up about it, it's almost like you're doing too much. Yeah. And for me, it's like I finally reached a point where I got the self-esteem and confidence within myself to be the change that I wanted to see, to speak up on the things that made me feel badly. You know what I mean? And that's really what it's about. I wouldn't have been able to do that, honestly, without having written my book. The things that I learned through that process made me be like, I don't care what anybody had to say. If it don't make me feel good, I'm gonna be honest about it. You know what I mean? Anybody else should too. That's what I would hope for them to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good for you. So, you know, before you came out here, we were talking about people posting stuff on Facebook and Instagram and getting a blowback and all that. And, you know, so you recently posted your picture without makeup, right? And people, of course, everybody has something to say.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with the negative feedback you got?
I deal with it because of, like I say, because of what I think, what I feel, and how I want to change what I see. I see so many times we're accepting fake over real. It's like fake is the most beautiful thing over real, but it's like real is how you was made. That's of course the best thing. And so for me, it's just like I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all the stuff that we're being pushed to accept, and really in turn making us have high anxiety, low self-esteem, and depression.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
there's a difference between fake news and makeup. I'm just saying. And I'm not trading this in.
Well, you know, you've been in the business a little while, since you were 9.
Yes.
And so I heard a story, and I want you to tell me this story of this audition that you did.
Oh, yes.
This is my favorite thing.
Yeah, so when we came from Chicago, that's where I'm originally from, we drove 4 days and 3 nights, and my mom and I were always trying to figure out how we could, you know, in these 5 seconds that I was in this room with this casting director or this agent, we wanted them to really understand what I was all about. And so we came up with a gag. And the gag was, you know, we would have the meeting, and then, sometimes they would be very quick, these people, very short, and I wouldn't even get to tell them much. So my mom and I came up with the plan where I would try to sing them a song, Be a Lion, from The Wiz. Oh. And she would tell me no, but in the room, at the end of it, the point would be that I would get to sing. So it would literally go like this. All right, thank you, nice to meet you. Oh, wait, can I just sing for you, please, before we just go, please, can I just sing? Here come my mom. No, Kiki, these people aren't here for that. That's they're not here for that. I'm like, Mom, but please, can I play? Kiki, no. And then eventually the people would say, well, just let her sing. When I tell y'all, my mom and I would do that like clockwork, and immediately when they said let us sing, be a lion.
That is brilliant.
That's brilliant.
That's
so good.
So smart.
I like that.
I love that
Oh my
stuff.
God, thank you.
Imagine when they double back to an audition and they're like, we've seen this before. Get out.
Exactly, girl.
Kiki, you've written a book about your life, an amazing title, I Don't Belong to You. Great title. I don't know if you thought about that, but that's amazing.
Thank you.
Copy that when I get out of here. And it chronicles the ups and downs of your life in the entertainment business. What do you want people to take away from reading this book about you?
More so of what we talked about at the beginning of Hot Topics, which is really what it's about. It's not just specifically about that Trey Songz situation. It's about what the sentiment of it was. It's not about that one negative comment I got on my picture where I had no makeup on. It's about the fact that we have to be kinder and more accepting of one another. Things are changing in our world. We have Donald Trump as president. Don't want to take it immediately there. But honestly, that speaks to kind of where our minds and our heads are of what we think is okay and all right.
Yeah.
And so with my book, it's just me saying, yeah, okay, I have Hollywood backdrop, my, child actor life. But really, I'm sitting here saying, what can I do? How can I become more confident and better within my life and myself in this crazy world? How can I quiet the noise around me and find my voice and be the change that I'm supposed to be? And really, that's what it's about.
Bravo. You're wise beyond your years.
Oh my God, thank you.
Now, you reveal some really personal stories in here, and one of them is that you were molested by a family member when you were younger. Why did you choose to share that in this book?
Oh my gosh, because so long I had very little stories to cling to when I would think about the traumatic experiences I had gone through. And I remember, I don't know if this is true completely or not, but I remember my mom would tell me about the great people that had endured abuse like that. One of the people she would bring up was Michael Jackson. And as a child, it made me so feel powerful because I would cling my story to someone's that I felt was positive. Yeah. And so I felt it was important to say that, in my book, like that that's gone through with me. I've gone through this, but that doesn't stop me. That's not where it ends. I've experienced sexual abuse. I've experienced physical abuse, codependent relationships, everything you name it. I've experienced a lot of things in my life, but through the grace of God, I came out and I can live to tell the story, And so that's why I want to say it. Like, for a long time, I would watch Intervention. I'm like, so this is the livelihood of everybody that's been abused. I can't take this.
Yeah.
That's not the only outcome I have. I could be anything.
Are you coming back to Broadway, dear?
Oh my gosh, I would love to come back to Broadway. I've actually been working on something with Susan DePass called Eliza, which is kind of like a remix of My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady.
Oh my goodness, and I'm just so I'm excited about that, and hopefully have possibilities to do something with that soon.
The score is very good for that. I love that.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Ooh.
Are you going to sing now?
Yes. Yes. So, one night. Just let her sing.
And you are a fantastic performer. I took my daughter to see you in Cinderella, and you were fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. And I read your book, and what was so interesting to me was you say fear is a choice. What do you mean by that?
I mean, it's a choice. Like, danger is real, but we don't have to be fearful. One of my grandmother's favorite psalms was, as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art my, the whole thing. And so that's how I feel about it. When I realized that, I started to understand that fear was something that people use to control you and lie.
Right.
And I was like, oh my gosh, kids, the gag is fear's not real.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, y'all, they've been lying to us.
Well, our thanks to Keke Palmer. This book is fantastic, and members of our audience are going home with you. I don't belong to you. We'll be right back.
Well, What happened now? El Convento, food. What are you guys
He
talking
stays
about?
at convents, and
In
Joy
Puerto
stays
Rico.
at
We're
places with machines.
To the audience about places to stay in Puerto Rico, and there's this place in Puerto Rico called El Convento that used to be a nunnery, like a convent,
Yeah.
and it's really cool to stay
Sounds like
there.
a wild time.
Right.
But it doesn't have a casino.
But it doesn't have a casino.
You're a casino.
I need to go to a
and
casino.
Where were you talking about?
I love Maine. I like eating lobsters in the summer.
Oh yeah.
Okay. What about you?
I've never been to Hawaii. That would be first on my list.
Right.
But I would stop over in Cali first because it's far. I'm not great on planes.
How about you? Where are you going? Any place?
Where am I going?
Yeah, going on a trip?
All the time.
Yeah.
You know what? Thank you guys for coming. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy